name's Bruce. This is my Christmas tree, and this is my iPod Touch. Green, red, blue. We can get a little crazy like that. We can use some presets like that. That's one of my favorites.
Alright YouTube, how you guys doing? Welcome to this special edition of Apple Weekly number 18. Kind of a year-end special, broadcasting on YouTube and iTunes. The links are in the description. Wanted to do this kind of twist. I usually do these on the weekend, but now that we're coming to an end in 2010 and it's a midweek when it's happening, I thought, hey, why not just have like a full roundup and some good stories on a weekday instead of a weekend. Got some really good stories, so without wasting any more time, let's go straight into number one. A 68-year-old guy punched a 15-year-old because he wasn't turning his iPhone off. They were in a flight just about to take off and the kid was using his iPhone and the guy's like, son, put the iPhone away or put it off or otherwise I'm going to punch you. The kid ignored, the guy gave him a second warning apparently. He didn't do it, and then the guy just had enough of it and he pretty much punched him in the face and said, FaceTime this, son. Well, that's probably not how it went down, but that's my interpretation of it anyway. In all fairness, it was obviously wrong of the guy in punching the kid in the first place, but the moral of the story is it's an awareness fail pretty much. The kid had his phone on airplane mode, and if you don't know what that means, it's basically an option on not only the iPhone but the Blackberries and Android phones where you hit the button, you can use your device, but all like cellular activities like your Wi-Fi, your internet or your mobile coverage is all disabled, so it's not going to interfere with the airline or the aircraft's communication system. But hey, shit happens. The second story is very interesting, or tasty shall I say. A bakery in Japan, only in Japan, right? They made a one-off special order for a customer, and it was basically, as you can see, an iPhone cookie. And soon after, it kind of got viral. Came around in Twitter, went all over Twitter, a lot of media websites picked it up, and business is booming for this bakery. Apparently you've got 2-month lead, that's correct, 2 month, and that is only within Japan. They're not doing international orders. This bakery was approached by SoftBank in Japan, who are the exclusive owners of the cellular network there. So basically this bakery went to their CEO of SoftBank, presented this cookie to them, and the guy's like, you know what, I'm not even going to eat this because it looks so friggin' gorgeous. So yeah, I guess if I paid $33 for this, I wouldn't eat it. But as you can see, a lot of work has gone into, you know, you'd think it's quite simple, but look at the apps, they look so exact, you know, amount of different colours, textures, look stunning, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of cookie entrepreneurs, not only in Japan but in the UK, Europe and States. The third story is of course relating to WikiLeaks, and Apple is the kind of newcomer on board, and by that I mean Visa, MasterCard and all these big companies kind of kicked away WikiLeaks. They closed their accounts down, they kind of gave no support, and Apple is the latest one, or kind of hints pointing towards it. Basically there was an unofficial WikiLeaks app on the App Store. The developers were charging $1.99 and it got taken off without any reason, and this graphics animation company, they've done a really good job of this video, as you can see from the left hand side. They made a very similar ad for the Tiger Woods controversy, of the Tiger Woods affair, and this one is just absolutely fantastic. It just looks so realistic. Well made, have a good laugh, and I hope you guys enjoy it. You click on the video, you can go to the full one if you want. But Apple have to be very careful as to what they're doing, because as you know, Visa, PayPal, MasterCard, they got hit by hackers, and Apple really could do away with that. Especially the last thing you want to know is App Store's gone down, or you know, iTunes has gone down, or some part of Apple has gone down. They should be careful as to what they are doing. So next up is another funny story. A 20-year-old boy or teenager went into a restaurant with an iPhone gun. That's correct, he attached an iPhone to a gun, and basically as soon as he walked in, he pulled the gun out, and the next thing is you see the chefs running out with knives. And needless to say, this teenager kind of shot himself, kind of went into the ground on his knees, started crying, and the chefs kind of gave in to his spiel. They didn't file charges. They said to the police, look, he's a teenager, they'll make mistakes. And the reason why the kid done this in the first place is because he didn't have enough money, he wanted money, so he thought he would rob a restaurant. But little did he know, there is no app for kind of making money. But hey, if he wanted money, he could have sold his iPhone, and yeah, I guess it teaches him and a lot of other kind of thieves looking to do the same. Better luck next time. So now getting on to some serious stuff, the iPod Nano has been partially hacked, and by what I mean by this is a developer has kind of been tweaking around the software. He's noted a few things. He's actually managed to remove one of the apps from the iPod Nano, which hasn't been done before, and he's seen some references to some software, i.e. iTunes rentals, movies, vcards, calendar events, and of course this isn't supported at the moment on the iPod Nano. But I've always kind of thought there's so much more that can be done with the iPod Nano apart from being a watch or just being... I think it's kind of overpriced, to be honest, the iPod Nano. And come this year or come the next year, 2011, I think we're going to see much more from the iPod Nano in terms of apps, perhaps dedicated apps. I'm not too sure, but to me £129 for such a small device, I think it's capable of much more, and I think Apple bringing multi-touch to the actual iPod Nanos could just be a starting point. Well, it was a starting point when it was released in September, but I don't think it's finished there. I think it's kind of going to come over the next few months, software updates, and this developer has said it's not been fully hacked. He's just been kind of looking around, but he said he is going to be working over the next few months and weeks to get a jailbreak out, which should be very interesting. So stay tuned, I might do a video on it come the jailbreak. iPad 2 rumours, how could I not talk about this? There has been literally loads and loads of rumours of iPad 2s in the past week. And usually this happens when a new iPad or a new product is going to get refreshed. Case manufacturers have said pretty much everything under the sun. Smudge proof screen, better display, smaller bezel, USB port to kind of agree with the European laws that are coming in that devices must have micro USB. It's funny how USB is kind of making headlines in the Apple world, isn't it? Or USB port is making headlines. A dual core CPU, which would kind of... I've always seen the iPad, and it's been said a lot of times, it's not really a content creation device. But with videos, FaceTime, having a camera on the iPad too, which is rumoured, it could well become having iMovie on there, of course, then would mean you can edit videos, hence content creation. Applications currently like DJ, which is a fantastic application, and I know some of you DJs or music guys are using it. Great application, and you can, you know, mix your own tracks and do all the funky things, and that is inevitably content creation. But is, you know, the iPad 2 going to take it to the next level? And definitely with multitasking and iOS 4.2, it has kind of raised the level, the bars when it comes to usage and creation, I guess. So some Chinese manufacturers have released some cases, and this happened with the iPhone, the iPod Touch. It always happens, and you know, I think it's very similar to the iPod Touch 4th generation. We'll see in January. I think that'll be the time when it's kind of launched or announced, and I already said my prediction in loads of previous videos and what I think is going to come up in the next iPad, so I won't bore you with it. But if you have bought an iPad just now, let's wait until the new year what happens in the iPad 2. It's always going to be interesting. That's usually when this happens, is when a refresh is around the corner, so I think we're in that period now. And last but not least, CNN made a list of their 10 biggest tech fails, and number one, guess what it is? Antenna gate. Of course, referring to the iPhone 4, the way you hold your phone, and antenna issue, a non-issue in my kind of thing, but is a big kind of PR and media frenzy when it did happen, and it kind of, you know, it was in headlines and so on, even although it happened in every other smartphone. I know it's not an excuse, but I've been over that before, but CNN has said that's now number one. In their top 10, they've got Microsoft Kin, 3D TVs, some Android sets, and number 10, also an Apple service, Ping. When it was launched, I was kind of happy, but I've not used it too much, to be honest. Just, you know, I already use too much Twitter, Facebook. I'd love to use Ping, but I think there's too much going on in the whole social crowd, shall I say. There's too much to kind of keep up with. But Apple have done a few things. They tried to get Michael Jackson exclusive tracks to kind of lure people in. They've recently teamed up with Twitter. They're working on Facebook. So let's see what happens. I mean, come the new year, what are they going to do with Ping, if anything? I think it can be improved with more kind of exclusive stuff to kind of, you know, bring people in. And guys, that's it for this video, this special edition. Hope you guys have a fantastic new year. Hopefully you had a great Christmas. What did you get? And if you can leave your comments down below, that would be great. Before I leave, for those of you watching on YouTube, I'll leave a clip of this fantastic car. Mercedes, kitted out with Apple gear. And on iTunes, if you're watching this on iTunes, I'll put the full video in so you can watch it on your iPad. Those of you watching on YouTube, I'll include a small clip, and if you click on it you can go directly to that large video. But guys, again, thanks for watching, I appreciate it. If you can leave comments down below, you would be great. Thanks for watching, cheers.
The brother's business. Ah, beautiful.
That's the mini Mac computer. Here you have the
That's right.
usual plug for the DVD.
Exactly. Oh, this is very nice. The
Yeah,
logos
usually when it's a bit darker, it's more light inside.
Oh, then it glows
yeah,
up.
it glows. You see here in the corners. It's with LEDs.
And inside the car you have a Mac and then two iPads.
Two iPads and
And on you have an iPhone.
so it's or an iPod, whatever.
So this
you
is
like.
for the Mercedes or Brabus and Mac or Apple enthusiasts.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Alles klar. Nein, nein, warte.